Thousands of millennia ago, there were 12 gods of destruction who inhabit the same universe. Everything was quiet. There was a balance in all these universes. The generations passed every million years as usual for all these occasions until there was a tournament in which the 12 universes had to fight for survival of the same world and not be destroyed by the hands of Sama. Those who were crowned as the strongest of them all was Goku, the mortal who overcame the same god's destroyers, the one who was trained to be a god. He already exceeded the limits of his own body. He never stopped training every moment of his life because he had the desire to face one of the best fighters in the universe. But that was already millions of years ago when everything was already gone. There was no longer that mortal who overcame the gods themselves. Everything was a simple legend that was told by the same god's destroyers, even the great priest Daishinkan in the great Sama. Is that legend that surpassed the gods really still alive? More than 500 billion years ago, it was no longer the same. There were different types of races that proclaimed themselves as gods, such as Nordic gods, Greek gods, Egyptian gods, and there were several gods where they would look at the resources that made the same mortals and what they did. But it was already all in its own time when the extermination for that race would approach. 7 million years of human history are about to come to an end. Will the fall of man be caused by a nuclear war? No. The invasion of an extraterrestrial life? No. Or the impact of an asteroid? Absolutely not. The end of the human race will be brought about by the will of the gods, the same beings that created them. Every 1,000 years, all the gods gathered for a purpose in the Hall of the Gods, where the great Zeus gave the meaning to all this. Attention, attention, be silent. I am about to start to counsel. Gods from all over the world, I have gathered you here this day to decide the destiny of the human race. So now I ask you, shall we allow them to continue to exist for another 1,000 years, or shall we conclude with their existence? Gods, show us what you've decided. Whereupon Shiva raised his hand, saying, I say it's time to wipe the mouths. I've watched them for hundreds of years, but I've seen no signs of them ever learning from their mistakes. It would be better to destroy them once and for all. He is right. Shiva is absolutely right. For years, the world is getting uglier and uglier. The oceans are full of garbage and oil. The forests are disappearing, and many creatures have become extinct. To be honest, the human race has become a horrible plague that destroys life on planet Earth, said Aphrodite with all her radiance, where all the gods agreed. They were fed up with the human race always causing disasters everywhere. Well, it seems that everyone agreed. The council has already made a decision. The Council of the Destiny of the Human Race has decided that they must destroy the human race. Zeus would say, to appreciate a voice that said, Please, Zeus, please wait. Whereupon all the gods saw him, seeing a Valkyrie standing on top of the Colosseum of the gods. With all due respects, but there is a matter I want to talk to all of you gods about, where two birds intervened. How dare you, Valkyrie, because you interrupt the conversation of the gods. If so, you are just a demi-goddess. The actions of the human race are unforgettable. Stop ignoring us. However, destroying them would be extremely boring. I propose something to decide if the human race is worthy of staying alive for the next 1,000 years. At the same point, prove if it is worthy of the gods. Why not put them to the test? So, do you want to start a new era for them, or are you talking an ice age and freeze them? None of that. There's a much better way to do it. I mean God against a man. I mean the final battle, the Ragnarok. In the Constitution, Article 62, in its Clause 15, it stipulates that to solve this particular issue, fight the gods against man with the law of the battle God against man. In other words, the Ragnarok is like this. The series that have a match with one-on-one, where 13 fighters represented their same side, where they represent the gods and the human race. The first team to win the 7th match wins this round. Therefore, if the human race loses the 7th match, the gods will mercilessly destroy the humans. But if the humans win their 7th match, then the gods will allow them to exist for another 1,000 years. However, this would be impossible for the humans to win a battle against the gods. In other words, it is an extrajudicial clause, an exhibition it was granted only to entertain the gods. Are you serious? I don't know what you were talking about, Valkyrie. It is too complicated what you were saying. Remember that humans are no match for the gods. Well, I get it. I mean, the same gods that today have decided to destroy the human race want to invade directly with the humans. They want to destroy the human race without any battle. They don't want to enter the ring and face them. That means they're afraid of losing. Sorry for my trouble. Do your business. Forget about Ragnarok. Where all the gods are angry and frustrated to hear those words from the Valkyrie. Haha, that Ragnarok is a very good idea you just said, and it sounds very interesting. I'm glad you mentioned it. It's fun, all this. And well, I'm sure the rest of you are also interested in this, right? The wrath of the gods? An overwhelming power. What do you say? Listen, all my mighty gods. Let's have a battle between us gods and the human race. Walkari, you will be the one to choose the humans. Thank you very much, great Zeus. I will not fail in my expectations. That day it was known about the confrontation between God and man, where no one knew of its existence, much less those gods. The beginning for a legendary warrior, for more known for a mortal that broke the limiters of his own body, a legend that will leave his cage, a legend that will never forget the beginnings of this world. Two days ago was the beginning, for man and God, the beginning that defines that they will continue to exist for another 1,000 years, or it will be their very existence that will be destroyed by the hand of the gods. The first confrontation in the Battle of Ragnarok, Thor the god of thunder against the Lu Bu, the strongest human of all China. That confrontation gave the beginning of what is to come. The first battle had begun. The cries did not stop to be heard. The gods and humans who supported their opponents saw their fate for humans, where unfortunately the strongest human of all China had lost at the hands of Thor himself, the god of thunder. The gods at around one were humans having to worry about the situation. On the other hand, in the Temple of the Gods, Brunhild and her sister will decide what to do and what they have to do. The first round is over. Instead of living in the past, we have to prepare for the future. What you have to do now is to select our representative for the second round. Not even the strongest man in all of China could beat the gods, so who could beat them? Hey, let's choose this man. What do you think, my dear sister? Seeing your sister Brunhild all motivated, to see an icon all over the screen. Well, who knows, nor do I know him too, but I will take that risk. I will bet on this man. To see our sister to the icon and see a warrior with a combat doji that had black hair, an orange shirt that had a master doji. His costume was combat. His name was Son Goku, strongest fighter in the whole world. On the battlefield, everyone was restless. No one knew what is going to happen. Well, the first battle was epic and all bloody. There was a lot of destruction, but thank the gods he has restored it. They are ready. Let the second round begin. Haha, the humans will never be able to beat the gods, no matter who is next. This will be very easy, said Tribune of the Gods. It doesn't matter, we will support our opponents, said Tribune of the human race. Everything was predicted by the gods themselves, but it was time for someone to come out of his long sleep. Well, it is time to present the first of the human race, the burden to the hope of humanity. Here it is. Whereupon a shadow appears walking around the surroundings of the same combat ring. Everyone was surprised. No one knew who this man was, nor much who he was. It is said that this man does not stop straining. No one knows who, but it is said that he has a pure heart, the one who exceeded his limits. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Son Goku. I would say the referee to see his manifestation in the ring. Leo, how long was I asleep? I think centuries. Well, I think someone summoned me here in this place. Well, whatever, it will be interesting, said the Saiyan warrior with a typical smile. The spectators saw it and never met him. They even said, wow, it will be simple to beat these humans. Even this pathetic human, that's all useless humans can do. They said the Tribune of the Gods. That's weird, because I feel this fight won't be fun at all, said the Saiyan warrior, elsewhere in another part of the Ragnarok. How beautiful is this boy, and to imagine that he has to die. But seeing him close by, she said in her thoughts, I think I've seen him somewhere else. But so what? It's a pity he dies, Nefertiti said to the guys standing in the ring in the meantime. Well, we have already talked about the human. Hand well against the god who will fight against the human is none other than Shiva himself. Go ahead, go ahead. But nothing was happening. They were still waiting for the other opponent, but an unexpected call surprised the referee. Elsewhere, Goku was more confused. Goku didn't know what this place was. Goku said in his thoughts, "Wow, I never in my life heard about these gods in all my existence, of destroyer gods. But I never imagined about these gods. Well, who cares? For sure they invoked me to fight against these gods. I hope they make me have fun. I'm bored to be walking in paradise doing nothing." Goku didn't said with a smile to see how all the sunlight disappeared and see the dust. Apparently several fireworks appeared and see two men standing there, to see an old man and a man dressed in black accompanied by a violin to give encouragement to the great Zeus. Seeing that, Goku is somewhat surprised, seeing that he would face that old man. Wow, I didn't think that I would be able to face him. He has the same characteristics as the Supreme Kaiosama. Goku did not finish speaking as the body of Zeus began to get stronger. Several muscles increased and dancing in front of the audience. Then the presenter saying, "Well, ladies and gentlemen and gods, here is the representative of the second round, the father of the cosmos, the absolute god. He started the titanic magic and the battle to determine the most powerful god in the universe. And he killed his father Kronos." Wow, I never heard of those names in my life. I'd better get warmed up, said the Saiyan warrior doing push-ups. Everyone saw him. The human saw him doing a little exercise to his representative, while the presenter did not stop talking to Zeus himself. "Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Zeus, the most powerful god in the universe." While in the thoughts of the Saiyan warrior, let's see if he's telling the truth. He said, warming up before fighting. "What a nice welcome for me and my tastes. It feels good, all this," said Zeus in all his splendor, with a mighty god. The gods were celebrating for their god Zeus, the one who is the father of the Greek gods. "Long live my lord, we will always be by your side," they said, supporting their god Zeus while inside the spectators. "What, because Zeus the greatest will be one of the first opponents? Tell me, sister, because he's going to face the second round." "I don't know," in Brunhild's thoughts. "No way, then he's going to fight the second round. I definitely didn't expect this." On the battlefield, we see how Zeus was looking at his audience, giving them his blessings. But more than all this, the boy watching him. So he approached him saying, "Hey you, aren't you going to use that thing they made before?" Goku didn't confused at all this. He didn't know what this old man was talking about. "The one where you fuse your soul with a Valkyrie." Goku was surprised. Did he mean a fusion between two bodies into another being? But as he listened, he said, "Because if you don't, this fight is going to be over in a second." Whereupon the Saiyan warrior said, "I don't need to merge with a Valkyrie, you know? I prefer to fight on my own and bare fist." Those words surprised Brunhild and her little sister. What is he talking about? Like, he's not going to use Valkyries? He thinks he doesn't need any weapons to carry? "I really predicted my calculations to him," said Brunhild in her thoughts. On the battlefield, "It's a pity you don't use any weapons then. This will end quickly, haha." "But it's only just begun," Son Goku said with a smile. "And tell me, old man, are you going to carry a weapon too?" Those words made him surprise Zeus himself, including the gods. "And you have the impoliteness to call Zeus himself an elder?" said his little sister. "You mean my weapon? No, I want this fist to pulverize you and break your bones. I'm going to fight with my bare fist," he would say, to give a kiss to his fist itself. "I see, we're evenly matched to them. But I will have no mercy on you. You heard me," Goku said with a serious face. "That's the way you talk, boy? All right. To begin with, I'll start," said Zeus, who quickly started attacking the Saiyan warrior. However, Goku stopped it with his hand. Everyone was shocked, including the gods. "Not bad for an old man," said Goku with a smile. On the other hand, above the Colosseum, "How is it possible that a human could stop my father? What a surprise," Hermes said to his brother Ares. On the battlefield, "Ditto for a human. That punch is almost the speed of light, and I can't believe a human could have stopped it." "I don't know who you are, but we're with you, Goku. Keep it up," said the human grandstand. "Haha, this is so much fun. I won't have me then with you, so here we go again." Then Zeus again, in weight detect with several blows. However, Goku stopped them without difficulty, and everyone saw it by seeing how the Saiyan warrior stopped the blows of his opponent. Seeing this, the gods were surprised to see a simple human stop all the attacks of the great Zeus on the battlefield. Next attack, Divine Axe. Whereupon the great Zeus put his foot to break the boy's leg, but Goku saw it coming, so he dodged it. This is so much fun. You know, I haven't had fun in years, but you're the first one to make me have a lot of fun, boy. Let's get on with the battle, said Zeus with a huge smile, where both fighters put their combat pose. Then see how Zeus began to give several blows to the Saiyan warrior, see how he stopped him. As he stopped them, seeing the low defense of the god Zeus, Goku took that opportunity by giving him a blow in the stomach, making him spit the great Zeus. Everyone saw him to see how Zeus spit large amounts of blood. Humans to see that celebrated for the feat of the Saiyan warrior while in the stands. It's not possible. This human made my father bleed, Hermes said in surprise. Haha, hell, that had to hurt, he said with a smile on his face. Unbelievable. I did not expect it, and to think that I was worried about him. And he is very good, and to think that he stopped his attacks from the great Zeus without receiving any damage, said his little sister Walkari. Oh, little sister, remember that this human is the strongest in the whole world, including that he is more powerful than Lu Bu himself. What do you mean, Sister Brunhild? It is said that thousands of years ago this man did not stop training. It is said that he trained without fatigue. It is not known exactly, or much less. His story is not yet known. It is only a complete mystery to us Balkors ourselves. I understand. In other words, Goku is the one to defeat Zeus himself, and his stupid arrogance that the gods have, Brunhild says with a devilish grin. Wow, sister, I didn't think you were scary, said her little sister. On the battlefield? Okay, this is really fun. But it didn't end, as he saw how the Saiyan warrior quickly came towards him, and see how a kick hit him in his face, making him shoot out several kilometers, and then hit the ring. All surprised to see how Goku gave that kick to Zeus himself. The people of the human race celebrated, while the gods could not believe it, a human making Zeus suffer. On the battlefield, Goku was observing his opponent, saying, "It's a shame to have to fight you, and you know, I'm sorry Grandpa for hitting you so hard." Hearing that, Zeus quickly stood up and said, "Grandfather, you called me?" And all the stands were silent. Effect of his two sons, Ares and Hermes, who were extremely surprised, as well as the two Valkyries who were inside the stadium, surprised, but seeing Brunhild laughing on the battlefield. Hahaha, fantastic, are you serious? I'm so happy I can do it alone. Then his muscles started to increase more and more. At that, Goku noticed. However, Zeus said, "I can't hold back anymore, Goku." It gave the beginning to the third round of this endless battle, where Zeus gave the first blow to the Saiyan warrior, were the same, both fingers gave direct blows in their faces. Meanwhile, Zeus saw a low opening of the Saiyan warrior, so he gave him a blow to the face. After giving him an axe kick in the stomach, sending the Saiyan warrior flying into the stadium wall, everyone watched as the Saiyan warrior was blown into the humans' area, where everyone was shocked to see their opponent injured. On the other hand, that worried me a lot. I thought that human had defeated my father, but he had changed things. Well, clearly yes, but who knows yet? Let's not sing victory, you know, little brother, said Ares to his brother Hermes. Yes, I know. On the battlefield, everyone watching, they saw how Son Goku, or the Saiyan warrior, was getting up from that area with a little scratch and wound on his face. Zeus was really surprised to see how the boy only had some scratches, and to think that it was his best hit. Not bad for an old man, those hits were effective. You know, I never felt full of life in my life like you know. Goku would be appreciated to see his fists raise and see him scream in such a way that all the spectators were shocked, including the gods, to see his eyes change to emerald eyes, and see his hair change from black to a golden color, and see an explosion of energy all over the battlefield. To see a few seconds later see Goku turn into a Super Saiyan. Everyone could not believe it, including the gods, to see his appearance change to a golden form. And the god spectators, what the hell is this guy? He changed his appearance out of nowhere. Is this being really a human? Ares said, somewhat astonished. Wow, I never in my life have been so excited. Seeing this opponent of the humans gives me complete satisfaction and enormous excitement at the same time, Aphrodite said, grabbing her breasts tightly. On the other side, unbelievable, I have never in my life seen that a human can change his hair, said Brunhilde's younger sister. We'll see if that can rival the great Zeus. On the battlefield, it's time for the battle to begin, he said with a smile on his face, son Goku. Way to go, boy, and tell me, what do you call that color? This one? I call him the Super Saiyan, he said with a smile. Not bad, so let's get started at once. So both fighters began to attack each other. The one who had the advantage was Goku, as he was giving him several blows in his face, where the father of the Greeks could not dodge his fists at the speed at which he was going. So, giving him several combinations of blows until Goku sent him a strong blow in the stomach that made the great Zeus spit blood from his mouth. However, Zeus saw the attack coming, so he covered his two arms, so that the impact would be less possible. Everyone saw the spectacle that both opponents gave, to see the great Zeus all badly wounded, but still standing the strongest god in the universe. Not bad, boy, not bad, said Zeus with a smile. Wow, and to think I was only giving 50% of this state, said Goku in his thoughts. To see how Zeus raised his fist and said, well, I have no choice but to use this. See if you can dodge me this punch, he said, raising his god aura to see purify his fist and say, we'll see what you do with this. Where that time Zeus had great respect for his father and great hatred with him, but he copied that technique and created it with himself. The attack that rules over time, the fist that overcame time itself. However, he saw a red aura at its maximum radiance from the same Saiyan warrior, and see how he dodged his attack, and see how he hit him squarely. Fantastic, that wasn't bad at all. And to see how the great Zeus himself fell in his rests from this boy, and see him say, thank you so much for everything, and those bites we had, Grandpa, but you're not the only one who pierced time itself. To see him fall to the ground all bent over, his head to another place, to see that time continued its normal course. Everyone saw it and could not believe it. The human had defeated the great Zeus himself. No one said anything. It's like all are shocked of something. The gods could not believe it. The human had defeated Zeus himself on his battlefield. The human tribune celebrated his unexpected victory. Unbelievable! It is not possible. Zeus is knocked out by Son Goku's blow, but they saw that flaming aura that was emanating from the Saiyan warrior, seeing his whole body emanating a divine aura. The gods could not believe it. A human had the power of a divine god, seeing his red color in his eyes looking at Zeus himself, to say, it's a pity, old man, that it ended in the quickest way, but well, it's a fight to the death, he said it with a serious tone, while inside the stadium. Unbelievable. I didn't think that in the second round of Ragnarok, he was so fantastic, and I can't believe that again he changed his color and hairstyle to a red state. Sister, can you feel it? It has a divine power. Seeing his sister on the battlefield, he saw that presence that reminded him years ago of a story that said that millions of years ago, there was a warrior who overcame some gods that were called destroyer gods, and seeing that he was a mortal grown in the same land, that mortal who had the power of a god, his aura was red as well as his hair was like fire. He had a purity for humans, and he would be the one who would bring peace throughout the planet Earth. Since I can emphasize that he himself is not a human. What? But Brunhilde, are you really listening to what you're saying? That would disqualify us from the tournaments. That can't be, sister. Don't worry, let me finish, Brunhilde mentions. I mean, he comes from a world called the Saiyan race, where every being of that world can choose the place he wants to belong, and since he was a baby, he chose the Earth to give his life for any circumstance that would threaten humanity, calling it family. He gave his word to be their protector and guardian of humans, leading him to become one more of them, but with supernatural powers that the truth did not think to see too much power. Walkari, surprised, said, magnificent. Wow, I never imagined it, seeing that aura and the red color in his hair. I see this legend is true, her confused sister said. What do you mean, sister? Explain to me. It is said that millions of years ago, there were other types of gods that were destroyer gods, those who maintained the order of their own world or universe. It is said that thousands of years ago, there was a human being that surpassed the same mortals and the same destroyer gods. That mortal reached divinity with pure training and effort. I do not understand, and thousands of years ago, it is said that the mortal had a red color and an aura of fire that gave tranquility to those who accompanied him. I understand, perhaps, said her little sister, but she did not finish, as her sister said, I was nervous when Zeus appeared, but apparently it was a very good combination. Everything that starts great, ends well, very well. And I'm so glad that legendary warrior will finish with that damned old man, since he was the hardest one to defeat. I'm very happy about it. I can't take it anymore. In the human stands, they shouted with great euphoria. You are the best, Son Goku! How nice! Now the gods are crying! On the other side, on the battlefield, well, it was an easy win. I thought I expected a little more from the one I thought was the most powerful, and he has given me that huge let me down. Well, what the heck. So the announcer saying, very well, it's time to finish with the second round between the battle of God versus man. The winner is Son, but he didn't finish his works, as someone spoke up. I'm still standing here, said Zeus. All the people were surprised. They could not believe it to see that the god Zeus was still standing. The gods were celebrating his return to their Greek god, on the other hand. Fantastic! I knew it! I knew that my father would return to the fight. It's not over yet, said Ares to his brother Hermes. Yes, that's true. However, I knew that transformation had taken its toll on his body. He was already exhausted. On the battlefield, seeing Goku, he saw how his body was starting to sweat too much, saying, Hey old man, don't be too hasty. Alright, I get it now. I thought you were confident and not showing off, right? Now I understand all this. Okay, so answer my question. Why do you wish to wipe out the gods? In your heart and soul dwells no evil. Tell me what the reason is. Well, you want to know why? At first, I did not know the reason why I was brought here. I thought it was a warm-up for the thousands of years that I spent in training, but when I noticed the real reason, it is because I will not allow neither you nor anyone to end humanity. Maybe they think that we are very despicable beings, that you could not get many positive things from us, but really sometimes they can be wrong, because we are not all. There are humans that, when they have to lend a hand, they do it. That when it comes to being united for a single cause, they do it. That we are fighters, that we have virtues and defects just like you. We can also make mistakes, but apart from that, we also have the right to survive. And not because of your whim to finish with all humanity, where my family and beings that I love are, and if that were not enough, I will not allow it. That is my reason. The human tribunes shuddered with such words that Goku said. They were so astonished that they began to applaud. Congratulations! And to reflect on Goku's words, bringing them to a state of joy and tears, that's when humanity united and stood up to give all the encouragement to Goku to finish Zeus. The gods who watched from the top of the ring began to praise the words of the human. Brunilda, Goku is really great, said his sister. Looks like we were all wrong about that man named Goku, Brunilde finished saying. I see you even got that whole crowd on your side, Zeus says. Ah, that's right. You shouldn't have gotten up because I plan to finish you off with a few simple fists. Now I know that you were never confident. Yes, I admit it, boy. You are very strong. Well, if you want to give up, that's fine. You can. Please, let's continue with the fight. Surprising the Siren Warrior to see how Zeus said, I thought I could win with this state. Goku didn't know what this old man was talking about, but he said, I really was too careless of you. I'm going to resort to this, but I know it will leave me much more exhausted than I expected. Seeing that, Brunhilde got quite worried. So she started compressing her whole body. Goku was really surprised. He'd never seen that kind of transformation in his life in such a way. These things can only be seen with these gods, Goku mentioned. Inside the Stadium of the Gods, everyone was surprised. Wow, the old man will finally fight for real, said Shiva, raising his fists full of joy. Wow, with Aphrodite. Wow, it's a pity it's over already so fast. For me, it's a pity for that human. But what kind of transformation has that human? And to think that before he had the red color in his hair, but now I see him with yellow hair. Never mind, this will be a lot of fun, she said, clutching her face. While in the battlefield, Zeus did not stop screaming with his suffering.
Goku could not be more than surprised to see how the old man suffered, to then see a curtain of smoke. Everyone was incredulous. They did not know what was happening, but to see a person out of the same smoke, and to see his final state of the great Zeus. When everyone saw him, they were really surprised and somewhat confused. His final form was almost the same as when he appeared, but with less energy as his muscles were compressed to their limits, where each muscle was keeping a gigantic amount of divine energy, where Goku quickly got into his combat pose because he wanted to fight successfully against this god. "Well, it's time to start," said Zeus with a typical demonic laugh as he struck the first blow, thus giving the first blow. However, he was no longer going at the speed he was going before when he was muscular. This one would go faster than the speed of light, where Goku could not perceive his attacks of the great Zeus, where he gave him a strong blow in his face. The spectators could not believe it. Goku was receiving the full blows that the great Zeus was giving him, where he was covering himself from the blows that the god Zeus was giving him. In his thoughts, "Wow, fantastic! I see he can get to do a little faster than me, but we won't take the credit away from him." When Zeus attacks again, Goku stops his fist and returns it to him with twice the intensity. Zeus is not far behind, where he quickly returns the fist again, and this time Goku teleports away, leaving his fighting side empty, where he leaves the whole audience somewhat confused. And even Zeus himself starts to spin around until, "What's up? I'm here!" Appearing in front of Zeus and kicking him in the stomach and throwing him far above the ring, he teleports back to give the final blow with full force. Zeus falls to the ring with many wounds, but we could still see the resistance he had. "But how is that possible?" Ares speaks. "If my father is faster than light, how could he not detect the presence of that being?" Ares was a little scared. Meanwhile, Zeus, somewhat weak, stood up again to go quickly to throw many bunches, and both began a fist war. They went on, and neither of them gave up. The power of the intensity of those punches increased as they continued to fight. "Not bad, but it makes no sense to keep fighting, because the god of the humans is more powerful than the god of all gods," mentions Brunhild's sister. It was really impressive. Zeus was getting to Goku's level, an oversight, and comes to a punch to Goku's face, scaring the audience. "I see you are very serious, old man. You even look like a grandfather," Goku says. But after the first punch, several punches start to arrive to his face and body without understanding why. Brunhild gets scared. Goku was not understanding why he could not respond to his attacks. "It can't be," Brunhild says with an alarming voice. "That old man just blocked Goku's combat points, which leaves him immobile for a period of time, and in that time Zeus will finish him off. It's impossible for him to get out of it. Damn it. We had already won the battle. Why did he have to get up?" While the blues continued, the human tribune could not believe it. They were finishing with their god. Zeus was only throwing punches in key points to paralyze Goku's body. That's why I didn't realize that this is the true deadly attack of the god, supreme tonic immobility. "Sister, it can't be. If he keeps this up, he's going to end up killing Goku. It can't be. I don't want to watch anymore," Brunhild's sister said, even as the blows Goku was receiving were weakening him. "I never thought I would find a way to defeat the god of humans," Brunhild says, when suddenly he receives as a final blow the axe kick for the 1,000th time, this leaving Goku without consciousness. The people could not believe it. They could not assimilate what they had just done to their protector. "I knew it wouldn't last long with that technique of Dad's. I won't deny that I got to feel some fear for that human, but everything is solved," Ares said. The birds start to chant Zeus's victory. When they checked the ring, there was no Goku. "What? Again?" mentions the referee. Everyone surprised because they thought they were done with the being who called himself the protector of humans. "I see you caused some damage to my body. I won't deny the ability you had to block my moves." Goku was screaming, where everything began to shake. Several debris cracked. All the people were worried. They did not know what was happening, even the gods, to see how the Saiyan warriors did not stop screaming, where he began to fly up to Colosseum to see a light shine with a strong intensity throughout the stadium. The clouds began to surround the Saiyan warrior. No one knew what was happening. To see a strong glow where everyone could not see for a few seconds. Everyone opened their eyes, and to be surprised to see the same warrior flying, but with a changed form. To see his blue hair, using phase 2 of the Super Siren God. But it was not the same as before. To see a tone of seriousness in his words, saying, "Sorry for the delay. This battle is magnificent." No one said anything. People were silent until Goku said to the great Zeus, "But that won't be enough for you to finish me off." Goku appeared in front of Zeus, staring at him. Zeus could not believe that he could see the speed that this boy had, but he did not realize that Goku was already hitting him in his face. C also gave him a kick in the stomach, where he barely dodged the attack that the Siren Warrior received. Does he also give him a blow in the face, but he dodged them and began to return the punches that the other had given him before. Quickly, Zeus began to attack the Siren Warrior, where multiple blows also did Son Goku. All the spectators to see the incredible battle could not be more amazed than they were. In the stands, "Elder, don't even think about losing this battle. You have to finish him," said Shiva, supporting Zeus, while elsewhere, "Unbelievable. Hey Hermes." "Yes, brother? Tell me what's going on." "I never imagined that a fight could be so beautiful." "It's true. You're so right." On the other side, "Dear sister, I can't stop crying anymore. Please, Son Goku, I hope you are well." Where the entire audience was transfixed watching the beauty of two warriors fighting for their lives. The fight was so beautiful where the entire audience, if not all, as much as the gods and humans, were standing without even noticing it. On the battlefield, Zeus sent an axe kick to a Saiyan warrior's body. However, Goku saw it coming, so he dodged it and then kicked him in the back, thus launching him into the sky, and everyone saw how the Saiyan warrior flew quickly to where Zeus was, where he could not do anything, where he saw the Saiyan warrior who was above him, to see him give them tremendous blows as if it were a ping pong. In other places where everyone saw how Zeus could not move, where after seeing his muscles destroyed by the hard blows that the Siren warrior gave him, he felt destroyed, where he was falling quickly in the ring, when Goku made the Kamehameha increase by 20 times the power, which surprised everyone. Ares and Hermes were very surprised by the power, but they were sure that Zeus would still get up, when from the sky they saw a flash that fell in the form of a star. It was Zeus falling with great speed, making a tremendous impact on the ring and destroying it completely. Nobody could believe what was happening. When the smoke from the fall vanished, they could see a defeated Zeus. Brunhilde and her sister, with their mouths wide open, could not deny the happiness seeing Goku win in front of Zeus. The gods could not believe it when they saw their gods standing on the floor, where they accepted the defeat with discomfort. Meanwhile, now, humans and gods, the winner of this second battle is Goku. The crowd of great joy accepted the triumph of Son Goku, as it was his first victory in this circle that they appropriated, in which you should never ever underestimate the legendary warrior, a warrior who overcame the very god destroyers. The time and the day has come to present an inhospitable in which all the gods could not believe it. The human who definitely finished was Zeus himself, the most powerful of all the Greek gods and the strongest. The presence of all this was really quiet. They could not witness any word between themselves, the gods, while the human race was already celebrating their first inhospitable victory among themselves. By that legendary warrior who ended his miserable life of that old man in his great presence, as it was the same Zeus who ran into him, but seeing out of the ring, but does not know where that warrior went. In the temple where Brunhilde and her sister were, he was celebrating for his great victory, since Zeus himself had died. Well, we have a victory won, we can still beat the corrupt gods. But as her magical cell phone rang, she had been quite surprised, while her little sister looked on in surprise, saying, "What's wrong, sis? Why the worried face?" To show the icon of her cell phone to her little sister and see Poseidon. Isn't it possible? The second brother next to his brother Zeus. Isn't it true, sister? Why him? Why the second strongest one has the fight? But her sister covered her mouth, saying, "There, dear sister, can't you stop saying so many words in your mouth, or else I'll end up cutting off your beautiful head." Those words frightened her own little sister, saying in her thoughts, "She sounds very sweet in her words and in her face, but she's scary. I'm scared." But someone hugged her from behind, saying, "Don't worry, she's always like that." To see her sister Valkyrie saying, "Are you your sister Chris?" "That's right, sis, it's me." To see her hug her tightly on her breasts and say, "How good that the second round has won the humans. I'm so happy to see their lots of disbelief in the gods see their departure of that old man so fast that I did not imagine seeing his death of the great Zeus." "That's right, sister. It's a good thing that old man died, because if not, I didn't have the apple pie in my mouth. What a delight. Now that it's our turn to fight against Poseidon, the situation is a little rough. I don't know who I can put in. We need to win another round like that time with that warrior who killed Zeus, but who will I put in this round?" But an unexpected voice said, "Please, can I come in?" Seeing the same guy who fought against the great Zeus. "But how did you get here?" said the little sister. "Well, I passed through the courtyards and I met you here." "And tell me, why did you come?" Brunhild said to the sign warrior. "I came for this," pointing to his stomach, implying that he is very hungry. "After the fight, I become very hungry. I'm starving." The Valkyrie sisters were surprised because they did not expect that comment from the god of humans. However, Brunhild would say thank you. "In that case, don't worry, Zion. The least I can do after defeating the most powerful god Zeus is to offer you a great banquet after your incredible battle. You more than deserve it." The banquet would not be long in coming quickly, where Goku in a second would start devouring the whole banquet desperately, until the younger Valkyrie would ask him, "And tell us, Son Goku, about your story. I'm very curious to know about the god of humans, the legendary warrior who surpassed the gods themselves," she would say, very excited. And then Goku would begin to tell them his whole story while he devoured the banquet. "Amazing! I love your story, Goku. It's really fantastic." "Thank you, little one." He said it with a smile, to see an icon sounding the alarm, saying, "Brunhild, we're out of time, and I don't know which person I can get to go to the third round." "I do." Listening, he saw that it was the same warrior. "But you already fought with the great Zeus. Don't you feel tired?" asked the younger sister of the Valkyries to the Siren warrior. "Don't worry, I still have plenty of strength and power to fight and defeat many gods." Those words motivated him to Brunhild and his sister Chris to see that motivation did not stop praising him more. In the battlefield, everything was insinuating who would be his new representative for the gods, while they were saying, "Look, for the third round they totally remodeled the platform. It's an ocean, but then the next fighter is going to be..." While on the battlefield, "Well, welcome to the third round of Ragnarok, the final battle against God and man. The gods have won their first victory, but just like the gods, also the human race won their first victory. Therefore, they're tied one against one, because it will be that the gods and humans will be ruthless one against one. However, that's what they do. That is to say, they will have to live or die. That is why it is a fight to the death. Then, dear gods and humans, after the fall of the great Zeus himself, they were restless for that unexpected death for their Greek god. That is why the gods want their revenge, and their revenge for having killed their powerful god. Who will represent the gods? Here comes their call. Thus causing the seas to shoot out like that to the big guy with yellow hair and his body covered with all blue. Therefore, he was with a bluish trench as well, where the referee was saying in his dialogue, "He is the one who is the second strongest of all the Greek gods. Then there would be this mighty one in the Emperor of the Seas, the Tyrant of the Oceans." All the gods were celebrating for his unexpected entrance of the mighty Poseidon. However, even the gods fear him for his fury, the most feared god of all. His name is Poseidon. All the people were silent. No one said a word about him until he said, "They're losers." He said it with an absolute cry, while the referee said, "Who would be such an idiot to take on the god of the seas? It is about this man," thus marking the other participant. "It is said that this man has not stopped training, and he is already coming for his second victory." Those words surprised the gods, even the humans. "Really? You don't say?" "That's right. no less than Goku. Those words made the human race celebrate, since they had their strongest human of all, even the most feared of all. The gods had an enormous fear against that warrior, but at that moment of starting a round, he presented new laws. But what? It's not fair. From now on, you will have to use at least one weapon to be able to face the gods. Otherwise, the participant will be disqualified from the fights. But they can't force such audacity, mentions Goku. The simple fact of having a light in his hands made the gods frown, since it was sacrificing a Valkyrie. He knew that the power of the gods was much more immense than the power of a Valkyrie, and by making them fight, they would lose their lives. Humans and gods, rules are rules, says the referee. But not to favor the gods, shouts Brunhild's sister. The humans did not understand why the change of attitude of their warrior fighter. They felt very worried, but they knew that the one they consider as their new god could easily defeat any opponent, even Poseidon himself, with a frivolous and compassionless look, somewhat irritated by life without possessing joy. Well, let's leave the crying aside and let's start with this great battle of humans and gods. Let's begin. And that's when the Valkyrie Chris gives her life to become Goku's staff, and without further compassion, the third battle of destruction began. Found already in the same ring, Poseidon does not think to give any initiative to start. Goku, eager to see him fall this time without showing any leakage of power, began with teleportation and stood behind Poseidon. But with all the skill of that god, turns to hit Goku with a swerve, stopping him with a staff, although he did not want to use it. It is said that Poseidon's sword can pierce any body that exists in all the galaxies, considered the most deadly weapon of all, without destroying itself. Do you think I can fall for the same little tricks you did with Zeus? With a smiling face and something far-fetched, Poseidon says to Goku, "It's a pity you chose a race so inferior to ours." But it's even more pitiful to be gods and seek the destruction of something you created. If so, they don't deserve to be called gods, but scum of entire galaxies. Goku goes running towards his opponent to start the fight with speed. Both weapons are classed with a unique power. The power of both blows can be visualized. Poseidon directs his gaze fixed towards Goku in order to exterminate him at once. The blows were intermittent. The speed that both had was impressive. Scarce time. You could see the bite that both are having.